our first segment, we're tackling a big question. Why aren't your retirement investments working for you? To help us break it down, we have two financial advisors joining us, Scott Gwatney and Tim Dahlberg. Now, all right, let's get right into it. So Scott, what is the one major or most common mistake you see?
You know, when we're talking about your assets not working for you, your portfolio's not working for you, tell everyone, check the allocation. And that's really, to me, the first step to see, you know, whether it was I was more aggressive last year or I wasn't aggressive enough. Maybe I was worried about the market. So we took, you know, a quarter of it, half of it, have it on the sidelines, money market, CD, something like that. Well, as things take off, if your performance is lackluster, so let's just say if you're assuming 15, 18 and it makes sense, but you're, you know, doing about half of that or even 10 instead of 15, maybe it's because the allocation is not correct. So we tell everyone all the time, you know, check with your advisor, check with it yourself, you know, call your advisor and especially at annual reviews or, you know, we call every 45 to 60 days on those calls, say, hey, look, you know, this isn't performing how I'd want to, because we want to make sure it's in line with the allocation and your peace of mind. Now, it's easy to say when the market's taking off and everything looks really good. It's, hey, I want more, I want more, I want more. And then if, you know, we get shaky, the bottom falls out, we have an event happen, like a war or something out of the blue. We want to make sure that even though things look good, if things aren't good or they do go south, that you're allocated still correctly in those moments too.
Right, you can adjust. So what's the big reason that you see why people's investments aren't delivering the results they expect?
Yeah, well, you know, just like what Scotty was saying, allocation is one of the pillars for a long-term investment strategy, right? Everybody kind of talks about it. But if we go inside of that allocation, we start looking at the investments or the investment strategy, 60-40, 70-30 strategy. Well, what happens is a lot of times the investments or the 60-40 that you had in the past doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work. And what I mean by that is maybe they're different administration that we had previously. Doesn't mean the same investments are going to work kind of going forward. So you kind of got to look at the allocation, but also look at the investment. I'll say a couple other things on that is that one of the other things that we're going to look at too is in some of the mistakes that we see is people have a lot of accounts, right? They think, you know what, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
I'm diversified by having my accounts spread out. Well, we find that usually it doesn't work. Because what happens, the left arm doesn't know what the right arm is doing. These assets aren't complementing one another, so your money's not working correctly for you. You really don't have a diversified portfolio. And I think one of the last things that we'll talk about too is fees, right? We see a lot of fees that are a little bit too high, right? Maybe it's the account management fee with your advisor. It could be the actual individual investments that we have, whether it's the ETF fee, mutual fund, annuity fee. When you have a lot of fees, it can drag down the portfolio. So any given year, if you lose 1 or 2%, that's not going to break it. But what happens, you lose 1, 2, 3% over the course of 10 years, 20 years, you're talking tens of thousands, even $100,000 that it could be costing you. So those are some of the common mistakes that we've been seeing over here at Burns.